So I made a video about a month ago of some of the differences I noticed after traveling a couple weeks around France between France and the US. And now I just got back from a whole month and a half in France. And so I wanted to make a part two of some other things I noticed, some major differences between France and the US. And there are a lot, but these are some more of the ones that I noticed. And if you watch part one, you'll see some other ones. First thing is floors for buildings start at floor 0. They call that the rez-de-chaussée in French, which means the ground floor. For us, we call the ground floor the first floor. For them, the ground floor is the 0th floor. So if they give you a hotel room on the first floor, that means you have to walk up a flight of stairs to get to it. You're not on the ground floor. First floor means you're up. For us, we would call it the second floor. So their floors are offset one from the way we number the floors. It's kind of weird. Another thing is there's no carpet in France. I stayed in probably a dozen different Airbnbs, which a lot of them were apartments or spare rooms in people's houses. And I didn't see a single carpeted room in all my travels in France. So it's pretty much hardwood floor or tile floor or hard floors, right? But there's carpet, is not at all common in France, whereas in the US, I've never been in a house that doesn't have at least one, or in most cases, half the house, carpeted rooms. So carpet is pretty rare in France. Another one is a lot of the doors, not all of them, but a lot of the doors, you have to actually have the key to lock the door from inside the house. So you use the key to unlock the door on the outside of the house, you need the key to lock the door on the inside of the house, and then if you want to leave again, you need to use the key to unlock it from the inside. So that's a little weird, because for us, we have deadbolts, and you just flip the deadbolt shut when you're inside. For them, you have to have not every lock, but a lot of them. I would say probably half of the locks I saw, you got to have the key to lock the door, which is weird from the inside. Kind of strange. Anyway, that's a bizarre little difference. It seems like for us that would be a fire hazard, but in France, nope. And those are not just old locks either. They sell new locks like that. I passed by a lock store and I saw it's like, yeah, they have ones where you got to have a key on both sides of the lock. So another difference, in the US, I have never seen a movie theater that does not have toilets in it, bathrooms, right? Every movie theater has bathrooms. But in France, I went to 3 different movie theaters, and 2 of the 3 movie theaters I went to in France did not have bathrooms. Like, that just wouldn't fly in the US, but in France, I guess that's the case. Some movie theaters don't have bathrooms. So if you go to a movie in France, make sure you use the bathroom ahead of time. There may not be a bathroom there. Another one is money. So in the US dollar bill starts with the $1 bills. We have 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. But coins go up to 25 cents. Well, in Europe, the euro goes up to 2 euros. So they have a 1 euro coin and a 2 euro coin. And then their bills start at 5 euros. So you can have a stack of 4 or 5 coins that are worth like $8. Kind of crazy. Another one is the drinking age. So the drinking age in France is, I think, non-existent. Pretty much anybody can drink there, and I think there's no restrictions whatsoever on it other than just what your parents say, right? I never saw anybody get ID'd or carded for buying any drinks. I also didn't see any kids drinking, but teenagers can drink in public and it's no problem. I think it's just based on what their parents allow. So I don't think there's any restrictions legally in terms of drinking ages. But in the US, I'm 55 years old and I still get carded occasionally. I get asked for ID and I have to show ID to buy a bottle of wine at the supermarket. It's crazy. So the US is really, really weird about the drinking age and buying alcohol and stuff. I don't understand that. Now, another difference is in France, everybody understands the 24-hour clock. So if you say 1300, everybody knows that means 1 o'clock. You could say 1 p.m. or you can say 1300. And I think maybe it's because they use trains and buses so much, and all the train and bus schedules use the 24-hour clock. So it'll say 1800, that means 6 p.m., just subtract 12, right? But they don't say 6 p.m. on a train or a bus schedule. It'll always say 1800. And in the US, pretty much nobody uses, maybe the military uses the 24-hour clock, but other people, a lot of people wouldn't even understand it. If I told them 1800, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Oh, 6 p.m. Okay. Another important point is the French do not have a lot of plastic. They figured out that people don't recycle plastic. They throw it in the trash and it sits in a dump and it sits there for eternity. So plastics are not very widely used at all in France. I think there are a lot of legal restrictions probably banning use of plastics. So there are no plastic drinking straws. Straws are almost not used at all. If you do see a straw, it'll be a paper straw, guaranteed. Even plastic cups don't exist in France. And most of the cups, the paper cups, don't even have plastic lids. They have paper lids. So they have paper lids, paper straws, paper cups. They do not use, and plastic silverware doesn't exist in France. So forks and spoons, we have all these plastic utensils here, the disposable ones. Nope, wood. You're going to get a wood fork in France to eat your salad with. All this plastic bags at the supermarket, nope. Bring your own bag. They don't have that. So you don't have any plastic in France, or very, very little plastic. It's very restricted. In the US, we've got plastic everywhere, man. They do have plastic drinking bottles, which I think they recycle a lot more of those than we do. But they have plastic drinking bottles. They also have glass drink bottles, though. And my last point is the supermarkets in France are generally much, much smaller. So in the US, I think we go to supermarkets typically once a week. That's what we do. We go to the supermarket, try to just go once a week on the weekend and get all our shopping done on the weekend and never go to the supermarket during the week. I think probably most American families are like that. The supermarkets here are really big and they have everything you'd want all in one place, right? And you drive your car to the supermarket. And so that's kind of our culture. But in France, I think people walk a lot more or ride a bike. And they're walking around town every day or riding a bike around town every day. And there are all these small specialty shops. So you have like a butcher or a baker where you could go to get bread, or a wine store where you could go and get wine, or a cheese store. There's cheese stores that just sell cheese. And those are very common in France. And then if you go to a supermarket, the supermarkets generally are very small. They're very small city markets. They do have some larger supermarkets, but even their large supermarkets are like half the size of ours. And they're pretty rare. Generally, they have kind of smaller city supermarkets in the city. And then they have a whole bunch of specialty stores scattered around the city that are like everywhere.